Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier. The DRF Bets race of the day for Friday, February the 23rd, race number 5 at Turfway Park. It is the local prep for the Jeff Ruby Stakes, formerly known as the Spiral. It's the John Battaglia Memorial. If you sign up for DRF Bets, you can access a $200 free bet. No deposit required. Just head on over to drf.com/join. Please use the promo code FREEBET09. Let's take a look at this field of 3-year-olds getting set to test themselves at 1 1/16 on that Tapeta surface. You can access free formulator pass performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page on drf.com. Download them and follow along with us as we take this field in post position order. Matt, the number 1 is Sky Promise. Sky Promise has been competing on turf for trainer Ken McPeak. Gets a good pace scenario in the Battaglia and a good inside post position to at least save some ground.
Yeah, figures to save some ground, like you say, should probably get something to run at from the back of the pack. The question is this horse going to be able to stand on the synthetic surface? Kenny McPeak's had success over the years at Turfway. From a buyer standpoint, probably not too far out of it. Going to need to take a step forward. For me, this would be a horse if I was going to use underneath only.
This horse was only beaten 2 lengths by Snapper Sinclair last year at Kentucky Downs, but really hasn't moved forward since. Maybe the switch to synthetic. We have a limited positive formulator fact for trainer Kenny McPeak with Sky Promise. The past 5 years with 3-year-olds moving from turf to synthetic, 20% winners, a $2.28 return on investment. The key to this race is right next door, however, and that's the number 2 Roaming Union, who just popped an 89 Beyer speed figure seemingly out of nowhere in his most recent race at Aqueduct, running off and hiding from the field to win by 12 lengths. Now, was it a situation where he just relished a good racetrack, a wet racetrack, and who knows what we're going to get on a synthetic surface?
Well, you know what? I initially thought that would be the case, but then when you go back, you only have to go 4 starts back, and he ran on a good surface that day as well, and it's not like you had anything miraculous out of there. I don't know. Maybe the light bulb all of a sudden went on. This is the kind of horse that I am always terrified of, because if he runs the 89, he's winning for fun. There's no question about it. If he runs the mid-60 that he's been accustomed to running prior to that, he's probably in some deep water. I think if you're a fan of this horse, some of the fears are kind of squashed a little bit when you see what the runner-up did. Came back to earn a 74 with a win next out. The third-place finisher, a 62, and the fourth-place finisher earned a 74, not in victory that time. I mean, again, this is the key to the race. If the horse runs that race, he's winning, period.
When I first looked at his PPs, I was thinking of dismissing him completely, looking at that last race and saying, oh, it was a wet track, slow pace, aided fluke, and maybe it was. But then when you go back in his past performances and you see all of the stakes horses he's been in against, Bal Harbour, Avery Island, Marconi, he's been in some tough company, and last time out he got the drop that he needed. He also got the trip that he needed. I don't think he's making the front in here, but I have a feeling he's pretty good. Kelly Breen knows what he's doing. I think he won the Spiral a couple of years back. The 3 is driven by history, and you're a fan of this horse a little bit, Matt. You took a chance with him last time out in the Pasco on dirt. It's apparent that dirt really isn't his game, but he's done some really good work on synthetic.
Certainly has. You know, I picked this horse second in here. He's a little bit slow on paper. He's going to need to take his game to the next level. I'm not holding the Pasco against him, although that race right now is a little bit of, I'm unsure what to make of it. The runner-up, He Hate Me, came back and earned a 75, but the third-place finisher, Mind Trap, only earned a 59 in the next start. In World of Trouble, we haven't seen him on the racetrack since that blowout win. I love the fact that as a 2-year-old, he ran as much as he did. He ran on synthetic in every one of his starts. He won going short. He won going long. The 2 turns isn't going to be an issue. He gets back to his preferred surface. New sort of training connections, but that doesn't bother me too much. I think he has a big chance in here.
Undefeated around 2 turns, and you mentioned his new trainer, John O'Meara, 6% wins over the 2017 season, but a positive formulator fact. Over the past 4 years with horses moving from dirt to synthetic, 23% winners and a $4.64 return on investment. This horse should get a solid pace scenario. He's a hard hitter at a decent price. The 4 is Family Kitten. This horse is still a maiden for trainer Michael Maker. He's been bet hard in both starts. He's finished second both times. He's getting blinkers for the first time here, and I wonder if that turns him around at a price.
You know, I think it's going to have to, because this is a horse that, like you say, he's been bet in each one of his first 2 starts. He's been the favorite in both of them, actually. He's been beaten by a couple of horses in here, or they finished ahead of him anyway, most recently, Truth Be Told. I think he's okay, but those fields that he's run against, they haven't come back all that strong. You're going to have to hope, in my opinion anyway, that the blinkers do wake him up and get him on the right track.
The 5 is Giant Honor, 15-1 on the morning line, coming off of a blowout maiden win at Turfway Park on February the 2nd. In that race, he was able to set relatively easy fractions, 25-2, 49-2. The pace will be quicker this time around, and the competition will be tougher.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to sort of show a new dynamic if this horse is going to win. That 60 buyer is not fast enough. The runner-up that day, I understand he won by the length of the stretch, but the runner-up came back and only earned a 42 in the next start. We're talking about a different level. Even having said that this field isn't that great, this horse is going to need to step up.
The number 6, Arched Feather, has not taken a backward step on the Buyer's speed figure scale. A winner around 2 turns on dirt, 2 starts back in his 3-year-old debut. Not only thrown to the wolves a little bit against Moreno, but completely compromised by the lack of pace in that Smarty Jones. Combatant came out of that race to run very well on Monday in the Southwest, second with an 85 Buyer's speed figure. Arched Feather has worked a bullet leading up to this race.
Yeah, and you know what? There's some pedigree in here, too. We know the Arches, they usually do well on turf. I'm hopeful that's a translation over to the synthetic as well. The Dam, she was great on stakes place as a 2-year-old. She finished second in the PG Johnson, and he's a half dynamic impact who won the Illinois Derby as a 3-year-old. To me, it's all a matter of you're putting your faith in the pedigree kind of coming through with this horse. You see, he's been dismissed in every one of his starts thus far. He's never been any less than 22-1. I think he's okay. I think he could work out a decent trip. You just have to hope, again, that he's going to be able to stand up on the synthetic.
Might get a completely different pace scenario than last time out, and that could be the key for Arched Feather at 8-1. We do have a formulator fact for his trainer, Edward Frederick. Over the past 5 years, dirt to synthetic, only 1 for 27, an 88-cent return on investment. The 7 is Truth Be Told, who has just put it all together in his last 2 starts at Turfway Park. They've put him on the lead, and he has responded. The question I have for you is, will he make the lead in here? Because from a buyer standpoint, he's not far off the top horses in this race.
You know, there's a part of me that wonders if this race is all about the draw, where you've got some of the other speeds to the inside. If they go, I think the hand is forced for Truth Be Told. I don't have any real knock against what he's done in each of these past 2 starts. Again, he's been kind of dismissed on the tote board, 7 and 15-1. But the question is, those are the only 2 victories in his career, both of them gate to wire fashion. If he doesn't get to the front, can he pass horses? I don't want to find out at now what's probably going to be a middle price as opposed to one of those middle toward higher numbers.
We're going to take a look at the Timeform US Pace Projector. I'm curious to see where Truth Be Told is. They have him sitting 3rd or 4th on the outside. I have a feeling he's going to be centaured. You're not going to try to fix what's not broken. This horse has big speed. The 8 Magical Meister is on the lead according to Timeform, and that red bar indicates the pace should be fast. Magical Meister showed sprint speed on dirt, tracked Truth Be Told last time out, draws outside of Truth Be Told. I'm not sure he can make the lead from Truth Be Told.
No, and that's the thing where, again, we've always talked about it. You need to handicap the pace projector as well. You need to go through the race. Look, if he didn't make the front in that most recent start, I can't imagine him making the front here this time around, drawing just to the outside of the 7 horse.
The 9 is Arawak, and at 5-1 on the morning line, I think Arawak actually offers a little bit of value because synthetic surface, check. Horse that can come from off of the pace, check. Top connections with Wesley Ward for the Coolmore people. Winner last time out, and a non-winner's a 1 other than. I know the race was not fast, and boy, I guess he's going to have to start getting fast in a hurry. I just think a good trip is coming for this horse.
Yeah, and look, throw Wesley Ward out at Turfway Park at your own risk. That was my only real hang-up with this horse. That race that he won most recently was just terrible. The runner-up came back and earned a 28 in the next start. But I keep in mind, that was back in December. We've had some months off. If you think that the 71 and the 88 Timeform rating, if you think those both take steps forward here in that natural progression from 2 to 3, all of a sudden this horse fits right in there. And again, at 5-1, you could make the case that that's a fair number.
King Valero coming off a 41 buyer on dirt, a 31 buyer on synthetic. The lone win came on turf at Kentucky Downs. This horse is tough to recommend.
Yeah, I don't have much to say in here. The highest buyer is 62. That came at Kentucky Downs. You're going to need to improve leaps and bounds to win.
It was good to see Hallie's Hero successfully transfer her okay form from the past to Turfway Park on a synthetic surface in his final start as a 2-year-old, stalking and pouncing his way to a career-best 61 buyer. I wonder, even with that pleasant tap blood on the bottom of his pedigree, if he is more of a sort of stalking, late-running sprint type.
Yeah, it's possible. And we go back out to 2 turns, so maybe that doesn't work. For what it's worth, the Damwell and the Gardenia is a 4-year-old, so there's some class in here for the pedigree. I think this horse is okay, but I'm in agreement with you. Maybe there's a scenario where kind of a stalking sprinter is more what this one wants.
Maiden, here's Carlos, 0 for 3 in his career, beaten over 25 lengths by Giant Honor on February the 2nd. He's going to have to somehow make up those 25 lengths in only about 3 weeks, and he has to do it from a tough outside post.
Tough outside post. It's not necessarily a short run going into the first turn, but you're almost guaranteed to be giving up ground.
Top picks for a very competitive edition of the John Battaglia Memorial Stakes. For me, this is a spread race. I picked Roaming Union because I like the competition he's been against, but I am very, very concerned about the switch to synthetic. We've seen many, many times horses with very good dirt form, they just spin their wheels on synthetic. So for me, I'm going to be using my top 4 picks in any sort of multiple race wager, and this race kicks off with pick 4. I'll be going 2, 7, 6, and 9. I think Arawak the 9 will run well. You like Arched Feather from Off the Pace.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that the pedigree kind of shines through in this spot and he continues to take another step forward. I agree with you. To me, this is a spread race. I think you can make a case for a number of runners in here. I went 6, 3, 2, 9, and I'd probably use almost all of them at equal weight. I guess if I was going to make any kind of a tweak, maybe Arawak becomes a B, but otherwise, all 4 of them in equal weight.
Really a fun race. Some of these 3-year-olds looking to provide some meat in the Jeff Ruby Stakes a little bit later on in the spring. And if you're playing this race from home, please consider DRF Bets, a $200 free bet, no deposit required, drf.com/join. Use the promo code FREEBET09 and approximate post time for the John Battaglia Memorial. Race number 5 at Turfway Park on Friday evening, 8/11 Eastern. Good luck.